Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. I hope your weekend is off to a fantastic start. It's Saturday once again, which means it's time for another weekly home fragrance roundup. And if you are new around here, this video goes up pretty much every Saturday, and it's just an opportunity for me to chit chat about all of the home fragrance that I was using around the house over the course of the last week. So what I was burning, what I was melting, what I was crocking, what I was lamping, what I was using in my Pura. Yeah, it's just an opportunity to chit chat about home fragrance. We have quite a bit to discuss in terms of what I was burning and melting this past week. But before we get into it, usual disclaimer, be sure to check out the description box below this video here. I'm gonna have a ton of links there. I will have links to where you can purchase the candles that I am mentioning in this video. I will also list the candle sales for my personal favorite candle companies this current weekend. There are some discount codes down there. There are links to some videos that might be interesting to you if you are newer to home fragrance. If you don't know what a candle crock or a candle lamp is, or you don't know how to use them, you don't know whether you're supposed to get rid of the wax when you're using a lamp, when to change out your candles that you may have put into your candle crock. If you have questions about all of that, I do have a candle crock and candle lamp 101 video that kind of explains everything to you. I also have crocks and lamps linked down there. So yeah, there's also some other candle related videos as well. There's just a plethora of information in the description box. Feel free to check that out if you are interested. And in terms of me being back in my usual location, yes, here I am. So this means that my husband finally returned to work this week. The thing is, though, I don't have Alf in my lap. You know where that guy is? He's on the couch, sleeping, taking a nap. I already filmed my little tour, and you guys are gonna see this next, but I filmed my tour of what's currently burning and what's going in my crocks. I took a little video footage of him lounging on the couch. I think he might actually be a little bit bummed because it is actually, I'm filming this pretty late in the afternoon on Friday, and Craig decided to go to his friend's beach house this weekend, and he took Penny, and I think honestly Alf is lonely. He loves Penelope so much. If you're new, Alf and Penelope are dogs, they're pugs. Alf absolutely adores Penelope, but Penelope could care less if Alf, you know, just disappeared off into the woods. I don't think she hates Alf, but she also would love to be an only dog. That's Penny's personality. But if she could just have Craig to herself all the time, she would be so content. So anyway, Craig took Penelope to the beach. He normally does. And then Alf stayed behind, but he always gets so sad. Like, you can tell he just gets lonely. He's the sweetest boy. But anyway, he might pop in here at some point once he hears me talking. But I did take just a little snippet of footage so that you guys can see him here in a little while. Speaking of, let's go ahead and dive into everything at this point. I will get started with my tour of what's currently going on right now. So I haven't done this in over a month at this point. So let's go ahead and see what I currently have burning, starting with the candle that's lit behind me here. And then once we get through everything, we'll meet back here and we'll dig into some of these other candles that I was burning this week. So let's go ahead and start the tour here in the formal living room. So right behind me, when I am filming this video today, I have Kringle Aegean Zest going. So this is one of the new releases for spring summer 2025. If you are looking for a very fresh, very zesty, pure citrus, you're gonna love this one. It's really vibrant. It is not an overly sweet citrus. It's literally like you are sticking your nose into a freshly cut lemon. There's a few nuances beside that, But if that's the type of citrus that you like, a very fresh, pure, zesty lemon, oh my gosh, you're gonna have to check this one out. It's a really beautiful scent, you guys. Now, I've had a couple of people ask me if I had to choose between this Aegean Zest and the Yuzu and Sage, which would I pick? I'm gonna go with Yuzu and Sage personally, because one, that one has a little bit more sweetness to it, and I happen to like that when it comes to citrus. Not that this is bad, but this is definitely a lot fresher and again, less sweet. But that Yuzu is that is a citrus note that I am obsessed with right now. And it's incredibly well done in the Yuzu and Sage. So that's why that one is my personal preference. But I don't think you can go wrong with this Aegean Zest either. If you are a citrus person, period, like if that's just your thing, you're gonna wanna check this one out. If you're hesitant about it, the daylights are available, the wax melts are available. So you can check that out first prior to committing to, a larger size like this one here. But if you're looking for fresh, if you're looking for not overly sweet, if you're looking for really authentic citrus, this is definitely going to be to your liking. I am actually burning this alongside two other kind of fresher fragrances from the spring summer lineup from Kringle. One of them is a Country Candle, the other is another Kringle. We'll get to them here in a second, like I said. But one thing I just want to say right off the bat in terms of the candles that I've had a chance to sample so far, is that they are very consistent in terms of strength and throw. So far, I have not had a dud in terms of that. They have all been performing at the regular medium strength and throw level that I'm used to with the Kringles of this particular size. So just initial feedback is that the burn performance is good. The strength and throw is per usual. And the scents so far have been mostly enjoyable. There's definitely a couple in this lineup that I'm not crazy fond of. I'm not gonna lie and say that I like a fragrance just because it was sent to me. I don't have to like everything. Not every fragrance is specifically geared towards me. Everybody has a different personal taste when it comes to their fragrances that they gravitate towards. But I am definitely impressed, even if I don't like the fragrance, with just the overall like oomph so far. Like really solid strength and throw here. Beautiful clean performance per usual. So I think the only real question here is maybe you got to figure out which of these fragrances appeal to you the most. So again, I am going to burn these at least a third of the way down before I report back to you guys. So it's still going to be probably at least another week or two before I get to that point with some of these. But if you have questions, definitely, leave them in the comments down below. This weekend, I'm going to continue to burn through the scents that I haven't gotten started on quite yet. So by next week, I should be able to give you at least some initial reviews on all of the fragrances that launched. But these aren't going anywhere. There is no pressure and no stress in terms of like, you need to order these today. These are the fragrances available for this entire spring summer season. One thing I do want to clarify before we move on to, because we're going to be moving on to a Country Candle here next, is that with the Country Candle, some of the fragrances will be re-poured if they sell out, but not necessarily all of the scents. So I know that that's not much of an explanation, but that is what I got from Kringle. So I think it kind of just depends on, what they have available for vessels at this point, to be totally honest. So I would say if there is a Country Candle fragrance that you are interested in, I think you're probably safe for the next little bit here. But as we get in further into summer, if those Country Candle scents do start selling out at that point, I'm not sure they will re-pour them once we're like on our way into summer, if that makes sense. I think right now you're good. I'm not going to tell you to rush out and buy these, but I just want to give you the heads up so you can make an informed decision for yourself. But let's go ahead and move to the entryway and check out what I am currently burning in the entryway. We are now in the entryway where I am currently testing Country Candle Mandarin Petals. On cold sniff, honestly, well, this one was a little rough for me. The neroli that is in this particular scent almost smells, not so much post-burn here, but when I first stuck my nose into this, the neroli almost smelled like it was mixed with maybe a little bit of a earthy patchouli type of note. It's just not the type of neroli that I typically gravitate towards. I do have several perfumes in my collection that contain this particular fragrance note, but I notice in the perfumes that I really like, the neroli is, it's a little bit lighter in its presentation. It's also a little bit sweeter. This is not a sweet scent at all. It's definitely fresh citrus, but again, like the Aegean zest, this isn't going to be the sweetest citrus that you could, you know, stick your nose in. It's fresh. Although with this particular scent, you're also getting a little bit more depth. It's almost like a heavier type of citrus. It's one where I almost would say you have to experience it. It's a little bit hard for me to put into words the way that this one presents itself. But definitely if you are used to your neroli being lighter, maybe a little bit more airy, maybe a touch sweeter, I'm not sure that this is the neroli in here that you're really gonna like. So I would say if you're at all hesitant about this particular scent, I would get a daylight. Start with a daylight. Don't go ham on this one quite yet, just because it's a very unique scent. I think a lot of people are gonna like this one, but I also think there are some people who are going to get this and they're gonna go, yeah, this is not for me. So just because I think it's gonna be kind of polarizing, I'm gonna just put a warning out there about this one. So take that for what it's worth. I will say I'm enjoying it a lot more post-burn than I did on cold sniff. One thing I will warn you about with this one though is, and I'll give you the overhead shot here, is that it does form some mega mushroom tops. So I'm sure you can see that bad boy right there. The one behind it is not quite as big, but this mushroom top in the front is wild. This has been lit now for, I think it's been 3.5 hours. So it's kind of getting to the point where I definitely think I need to extinguish this one and trim these wicks. I don't like enormous mushroom tops like this. They can get smoky sometimes. So, and you can see here, I also have a very massive wax pool. This is a pretty good solid wax pool here. This is, yeah, it's burning quite hot. So I think I'm definitely going to probably extinguish this one before I even get back to filming the rest of this video here. But for what it's worth, this is one where I would say be a little bit more mindful if you're thinking about getting it. If you're good with a kind of heavier neroli, I think you're gonna be fine here. But if you're kind of particular about it like I am, I would just use a little bit of caution. All right, let's move on to the last candle that's currently burning. Just in case Alf decides to not join me for the filming of the weekly Home Fragrance Roundup today, I thought I'd go ahead and include just a little snippet of him. So Craig is officially back at work, and that means that Alf and I are kind of back to our normal schedule here. But I will say over the course of the last month, he has gotten just a little lazy when it comes to helping mama out. So I don't know, I think I may have lost my full-time filming assistant here. So if you don't see him in the rest of the video or you don't hear his snores in the background, it is because he's just being a lazy pug. He has definitely turned into a bit more of a Penelope, if you will. By the way, Alf is actually turning 4 in March. So yeah, this guy is almost 4 years old, which is absolutely wild, but they grow up fast. All right, let's move on to the next candle. We are now in the kitchen, and on the kitchen table here, I have the sea salt and bergamot. And this one is a very fresh, I would say borderline soapy, clean type of fragrance. This one does have some patchouli in it, but I don't want that to scare you off if you are, if you're nervous or you typically avoid patchouli at all cost. You can smell a little bit of it in this fragrance, but it's not overly aggressive, and it's a very pretty patchouli. It's not an overly earthy, dirty patchouli. It is more of the perfumey patchouli. There's also lavender in this one, and I gotta say, now that I have burned this for several hours, I really have not picked up that lavender once, but I do think it is probably the lavender that is giving this one a little bit of that soapy quality. So I think it's kind of interesting that I don't like overtly smell that lavender while this one is lit. I never did at any point during today's burn detect any of that basil that I was hoping to pick up in here. But despite that, I really like this scent. I think this is actually a really beautiful, like fresh bathroom type of fragrance. That's not the only place that I would choose to enjoy this one, but I think the overall just freshness and soapiness of it kind of lends it to being a nice bathroom fragrance, I guess you could say. But I also think this would be a nice kind of relaxing fragrance to also enjoy in the bedroom. It's not one that I would myself really have going in my more open concept downstairs areas, just because it's not my particular like favorite fragrance category. I'm starting to enjoy the fresh scents a little bit more. But the soapy fresh scents are still a little like newer to me in terms of me actually enjoying them in some kind of capacity, but I'm getting there. I'm trying to expand my fragrance tastes a little bit more because I have found that doing that over the last couple of years has really allowed me to discover some great fragrances that in the past I would have never even thought about trying, but just giving them a chance allowed them to grow on me, and it just gives me a different experience or vibe in the house when I'm using these types of fragrances. So now that we are getting into the slightly warmer spring days here in Oregon, this is the type of fragrance that I think would be actually really nice to have going on a day where I open up all of the windows and air the house out. I'm doing that several days a week already. I have been doing that even in January. I was doing that. This is something that I grew up with my Oma doing in Germany. So we just air the house out, and then immediately after, I very carefully will pick my home fragrance to be like a really nice, fresh, clean scent. And this is the type of fragrance that I would reach for during those times. So while this isn't in my usual wheelhouse, I'm really enjoying this one. And if you too are trying to get into trying some different scent categories, pick this one up in the wax melts or in the daylight just to be able to see how you feel about it. But I'm really enjoying this, and it's a nice surprise for me. So anyway, that is a little bit more information about these 3 new spring summer scents from Kringle and Country Candle. Let's quickly go through and see what I have going in my 3 candle crocks currently. And then we will come back and we'll talk about a few more of these new fragrances from Kringle and Country, and then some other things that I was burning and melting this week. Welcome to my laundry room where I keep one of my candle crocks. Now I decided to go ahead and pop my Kringle ice cream sandwiches in here, but I was pretty much almost done with this one. So I only have a little bit of wax left in the bottom here, obviously. But oh my gosh, you guys, this one is so potent. There was no issue burning this particular candle. I just was like, ugh, I gotta start testing these spring summer scents. And so I just decided to pop this one in here because, one, it's a great background fragrance. It has a little bit of coconut in it. So if you're not a fan of coconut, I would probably skip it, but it's a really nice creamy gourmand. And if you are looking for a great gourmand for the upcoming summer season, this is one that I would say you have to check out. It is delicious. The next time that I go to repurchase this, because I have another backup? I might have one more in the 2-wick format. But if I don't, I will be reordering this going forward in the 4-wick, because this is one where I am definitely looking for some more strength and throw, and I would love to test it in the larger format just to see if it gives me a lot more oomph. I suspect that it probably would definitely amp up the strength and throw a little bit. Maybe not dramatically, but even a little bit more would just make me so happy with this one. It's a fantastic scent, like I said. So if you're in the market for some summer gourmands, this is one that I would say put it on your list. It is delicious. So I anticipate that I will probably get this out of the candle crock. I put it in, I think it was on Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday that I took what was in here out. Which was the Yankee Candle Capri Glow. I just basically stopped smelling it, so out it went. I reused the wax from that one in the fire starters that I make. And then I immediately plop this one in here. So I think I will be able to get to this next Wednesday pretty easily. And then I anticipate probably the vast majority of the fragrance oils are going to be dissipated out of that amount of wax there. By the way, I keep these crocks on 24/7. I don't turn them off until I am ready to take a candle out. Sometimes I will leave a crock off for a day. Sometimes I plop something else in almost immediately after. It just kind of depends if I have some candles that I have set to the side that I would like to be able to crock. But anyway, let's go ahead and head upstairs and check out the last 2 candle crocks, and then we'll head back to the living room. We are now in the master bedroom, and this is actually one of the candle crocks that I have linked in the description box right below this video here. This is the ivory option, and I've had this particular candle crock for years. I've actually also had the teal crock that you saw downstairs for years as well. But this one I specifically remember purchasing probably like 5 years ago now. And I have used this thing almost every single week. And like I say, typically when I'm using my crocks, I leave them on 24/7. And this thing is still going strong. I just think these are really, really great quality. So if you're looking for a good quality, more neutral candle crock, I honestly can't recommend this one enough. So check it out if you need one. Like I said, it's linked in the description box. But in here, I decided to put the last half because I did burn this to the halfway point here. I decided to put the last half of my, what they used to call macaroons, but thankfully they have now changed the label to say macarons, because that is what these things are. These are the French patisserie treat. Macarons, not macaroons. Anyway, I love this scent. I guess you could say it's maybe a little bit generic. I think it's a great gourmand. So you've got that really nice, like, kind of pastry macaron note in there, so you get a little bit of that almond, but then you also get just a somewhat generic but soft fruity note as well. It's kind of a mix between like strawberry and raspberry. This scent is not particularly exotic, you could say, but I think it's really well done, and I loved it so much that I purchased a couple backups of the 2-wick here. So I'm certainly going to burn through those, but I have also already purchased the 4-wick of this one because, like I said, I just love the scent. If you're looking for a great kind of basic, delicious gourmand and you're a big fan of macarons, I don't think you can go wrong with this one at all. I love it, and I will continue to repurchase it in the future. I love the fact that they already put out the 4-wick of it. I just really enjoy this one. So if you've never tried it, it definitely gets the big fat thumbs up from me. I will say though, I have seen a couple of people say in the last like several weeks that they also tried this particular scent and they found theirs to be really light. Now mine is from, what's the pour date on mine? Let me see if I can make that out. What? This one was 2023. Yeah, so this one is a little bit older. So obviously it's been sitting for a little while, but I will definitely light up my 4-wick pretty soon, and I'll report back just to, you know, let you guys know if something went wrong somewhere along the line. But I was really surprised to see people saying they can't smell this one because this is definitely potent. It was doing fine burning. Again, solid medium strength and throw, probably somewhere between a 7 and an 8 on average for me. So I didn't need to go into a crock. The only reason I put it into a crock is because, again, I'm starting to test all the new spring summer candles and I didn't have anything to put up here. So in it went, and it's delightful. With the amount of wax that I have here, I'll probably get at least a week and a half in terms of 24/7 fragrance output. But I think after that, it'll definitely start fading pretty quickly, and I'll need to either turn this crock off or replace it with something else. But anyway, that's it for this room. One more crock. This is the last crock to chit chat about, and as you can see, the candle that's in here is very full. It's a lot of wax, and this is a Yankee Candle sugared apple. Now, this is one that I have had in my collection probably since 2014, 13. It's probably somewhere around there. I don't remember, but I've been hoarding it for a very long time. So I really like this sweet, juicy apple scent. This is actually typically a holiday release for Yankee. And I do think it's a nice holiday fragrance, but it's also one of the rare apple scents that I have enjoyed at other points in the year. Typically for me, apple scents I mostly gravitate towards in the month of September, a little bit into October, and then for the most part, every once in a while I'll do an apple scent around the holidays as well, especially if it's a baked apple. But for the most part, I don't know, apple just belongs at the beginning of fall according to my brain, and not really any other time of the year, with the exception of this sugared apple. This is so sweet, so delicious, so just not a seasonal apple scent for whatever reason. I just really like this one. I believe this came back as a returning favorite in the paraffin format from Yankee, either this last holiday season or maybe the year before. I am just now starting to get back into Yankee Candle, so I don't know all of the details about, you know, when things came recently, but I just know that I have this one in my collection forever. And since I no longer really burn paraffin in my house, I wanted to be able to enjoy it. The best way to do that is in a candle crock. So this has now been in here for 2 weeks, and I do think I can still smell it. Like, as I'm standing here, I'm getting definite solid whiffs of it, but it is starting to decline in terms of the fragrance oils. Like, it's starting to get lighter. I already have a replacement. I will be tossing another Yankee in here. So the pistachio latte is what I'm gonna toss in here next. This one, I've not had an issue burning this one. I swirled the wax there a little bit. I was trying to extinguish the flame by swirling the wax, but that didn't work out for me. I ended up blowing it out anyway. But this one is just a little bit lighter. So, well, it's a roller coaster. That's what this one is. So I think I'd just like to melt it. So I already have a replacement for here. I think I might let this go through the remainder of the weekend, and then after that, switch it out. But I will repurchase the scent, especially if it becomes available in their soy blend formulation. Nice clean burn, heck of a lot better than their paraffin candles back in the day. So I'll take this type of burn, yes. The sooty mess, absolutely not. So anyway, for what it's worth, this is what I have been melting in here, and I've been loving it. So let's move back downstairs and chit chat about some of the other candles and wax melts from this week. I hope you guys enjoyed that tour of what is currently happening around the house in terms of home fragrance. So let's get started with the candles that I finished this week. I honestly didn't have as much burn time this week as I have had over the course of the last month, because over the course of the last month, I was home for that entire time taking care of Craig. So made utilizing home fragrance a little bit easier, and I definitely got through a lot that way. But I was back at work this week, so my burn times were just a couple hours in the morning before taking off for work, and then obviously in the evening after returning. But even despite that limited burning that I had available, I was able to finish a couple of candles. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the 3 finished candles. Also, I did, let me just talk about the candles that I took out of the crock. I took all the wax out and put the wax into the fire starters that I make. That's another video that I have linked down below. But this was the Capri Glow. I told you guys that I would update you in terms of the strength and throw in the candle crock. So much stronger in the crock. This one was quite light. I love the fragrance. It smells exactly like the Sol de Janeiro Cheirosa 62 fragrance. So the scent itself, heavenly, perfect, everything that I was hoping for, quite frankly. But the strength in the throw, not great on this one. So I put it in the crock, and it gave me so much more like oomph when I put it in there. So I'm going to repurchase this, but I'll get it in the 3-wick and the wax melts. So he's coming. He's here. I'll still pop in the footage because I already had it filmed and it was really cute. Sir, we have missed you. We have missed, wait, he's got to stretch, and then he has to hop into my lap here. All right, everyone say hello to Alf. This is the great love of my life here. Oh my God, so bored. He's so bored. But at least he is back with us. He has returned triumphantly. Anyway, back to this. So yes, will repurchase Capri Glow. The fragrance itself is, like I said, heavenly. I'm telling ya, if there is a reserve fragrance that you are willing to try that maybe isn't normally in your wheelhouse, I'm gonna say let this be the one. This is Honey Blossom. Now, the notes on this one are honey, wood, floral, spice, amber, and wood. I've already done an in-depth review of this one, so you can find that on my Kringled playlist. Oh my gosh, it was just so beautiful. I had this melting in my master bedroom for a couple of weeks. I had burned it to the halfway point and then just decided to go ahead and melt the rest of it. It honestly, I think, prolonged my life with this particular fragrance, but I'll just repurchase it. It is that good, you guys. This is one of those really soft, beautiful honey fragrances that is so unique from any other like honey fragrance that I've ever experienced. There is a little bit of depth to this, and I think it's from that wood note that's in here. The honey is just perfectly sweet. The amber is stunning. It's a really beautiful perfumey amber. I just honestly cannot get enough of this one. And it's one of those that surprised me. Like, I definitely liked it on cold sniff, but once I started burning it and once I started melting it, it immediately, like, it just made its way into like the favorites part of my brain. And that is where it will continue to live, because that is beautiful. It's so nice. So this is my first Yankee back in the game that I have completely burned from start to finish. And this was the Azure Sky fragrance. I gotta say, I was a little surprised when I walked into the dining room last night to extinguish this one. One, I was surprised to see it still actually burning, because I knew that this was going to be, when I lit this after coming home from work yesterday, I knew that this was going to be my last burn with it. And I just figured that the wick clips would extinguish the flames. They did not. So I think what happened here is, because the wick clips didn't extinguish themselves, it really caused the metal part of the clip to warm up, and then caused the glue on the bottom that holds the wick clip in place to loosen, and then this happened. Do you see where that wick is? It is right next to the glass. I'm really kind of lucky that this didn't actually cause the glass to break, because this was so hot. And I had it on my dining room table, and I really thought that, like I said, that the wick clips would extinguish this, but they didn't. Like, the flames just kept going, and then I think heated up that metal, which then caused that glue to loosen, and then caused that to slide over. So my bad in that respect, but also I feel like the wick clips are supposed to extinguish the flames. So at least that's what I was always told, but maybe not necessarily. So now I'm gonna be a little bit more mindful and watch my candles. But all that being said, I want to talk about the burn experience of this one. This Capri Glow, obviously I burned to the halfway point and then I melted the rest of it. But this one I actually burned the whole way down. Look at how clean this is. I mean, it looks a little hazy, but there's no soot. There's no discoloration in that wax. Those wicks were strong, obviously. Wick clips, yeah, wick clips didn't do their job here. That is something that I'm a little concerned about, but also I should be watching my candles a little bit more closely. But just in terms of the burn quality, I'm impressed. This is, this has now shown me that Yankee can make candles that are not sooty, that are not overly dirty, that are not going to, you know, destroy my house. So yes, I will be trying more from Yankee. I will try some of their different formats. So the 3 wicks, I have been told, definitely have a little bit more strength and throw than these 2 wicks, but I like the look of the 2 wick jars, and typically I have either 2 or 3 candles burning at any given time, so I don't need just 1 candle to fill the entire house. So as long as I can get a medium strength and throw out of these, that's fine by my taste. It might not be your standard, so just so we're clear on that, I totally understand that there are some people out there who expect 1 candle to fill their whole house. I don't have that expectation here, just because that's not how I utilize home fragrance myself. But I do think for me, the strength and throw here is worth the investment in these. So I will continue to purchase Yankee Candle and review them for you guys, because they changed it up, which is good. Thank you, Yankee. I appreciate it. All right, I finished my 2 sniff candles. Okay, I will need the 4 wicks in both of these. The first here is the Guilty Pleasure. which to me is an excellent replacement for the Raspberry Peach Macaron from Bath & Body Works. Not exactly the same scent, but I think even maybe more delicious. If you liked Raspberry Peach Macaron, you're gonna like Guilty Pleasures. I had a really good burn on this one. It was a great experience from start to finish. Sniff uses soy wax. It's incredibly clean burning. The wicks, the wicks are a little fragile. You can't get overly aggressive with them, but I didn't have any issues with the overall burn here. Didn't have a burn issue with this one either. This is the Big Flirt. This one is a mix of strawberry, chocolate, as well as like a champagne-y note. I really like this one a lot. This one, if I had to choose between the two, I'd probably opt for the Guilty Pleasure. But again, this is another one where I would absolutely love this in a 4-wick size. I just really enjoyed it. And the way that these 2-wicks performed was really, really good. Now, these Sniff 2-wick candles are available at Ulta now. So I will link the 2-wick versions at Ulta because quite frankly, I don't think that most people are going to be interested in the price point of the 4-wicks. But if you want a 4-wick, you can get it on the Sniff website. 4-wicks retail for, I believe, $125. Either $125 or $129. I can't remember the exact price point. So they're spendy. Are they worth it? Yes. I have finished one entire 4-wick from Sniff and it was their Crumb Couture. I loved it. It was fabulous. But if you don't want to spend quite that much, you can get their 2 wicks for right around like $48, I believe. So still expensive, but not $130. So to me, however, like I said, I think they're really worth it. I think they're beautiful. So there's that. Let's discuss some other candles that I was burning this week, just a couple of times before we dig into some thoughts on the new spring summer from Kringle. So I lit this once in the morning this week before going to work. It is the Sicilian Orange, and I'm gonna blow your guys' mind, but I think I have a new favorite citrus that trumps this one, and it is it's the yuzu and sage. Oh. Also kind of a slight herbal note here combined with a citrus, which apparently is my thing. But I do still love the Sicilian Orange. This is one that is just so fresh, so clean. This one definitely is one that energizes me, and I needed that this week before leaving for work. So I did enjoy this one. At least, I think I actually probably lit it twice in the mornings. So yeah, but I'll continue to burn this one. It's burning great, just fabulous scent. Another citrus that I lit up after work a couple times this week was the Yankee Candle Iced Berry Lemonade. I just recently reviewed this one, and so fresh, so delicious, so sweet. But I think this smells a little bit more like raspberry lemonade than it does strawberry lemonade. If you're a fan of raspberry, you should check this one out. This is one that I will again repurchase, but yeah, look at that burn. Look at the burn of that Yankee. Soy, that's where it's at, in my humble opinion. Not everybody's opinion, in my opinion. Really quickly before we get into the new Kringle scents, this finally arrived. I came home from work and FedEx had put the box at the bottom of my driveway, which was nice of them. Thank you, FedEx, for leaving my package at the street. I don't know how it was there at the end of the day when I arrived home, but no one took it. We do live on a dead end, so we don't get a ton of traffic, but I still don't love that FedEx just literally dumps my packages on the street. I don't know how to get them to stop doing that. If you are someone that works for FedEx, can you just give me, like, who do I need to talk to? Because I've talked to my local, like, FedEx distribution center. and complained before, and they were just like, oh yeah, sorry about that. We'll tell your driver not to do that, but he's still doing it. Anyway, this box came from Kringle this week. I placed an order when the St. Patrick's Day collection launched. I got 2 of the 4 wicks in the Sea Breeze scent, which can't wait to light those up. But I know a lot of you guys were curious about the Leprechaun Treats because this is very much a vanilla gourmand. So I did smell this when I first opened the box. This isn't a first sniff, but what I'm smelling so far, I really like. This is basically just a bunch of vanilla. Super sweet, very vanilla, creamy vanilla, warm amber, and more vanilla. This is basically vanilla in a jar, and I like it. I will say on cold sniff, I smell a little hint of caramel in here. Little caramel, but it's okay. It's fine. I'll accept it. It's mostly vanilla, so I'm gonna get to burning this probably starting this weekend, and I'll do a post-burn review on this. But yeah, this was the only thing that I got from the St. Patty's collection. The other 2 scents didn't necessarily like grab my attention right away, so I figure I can always get those at a later date, but this is one that I definitely had to try. So now let's go ahead and dive into some first initial post-burn thoughts on some of these new Kringle and Country candles. First one I want to start with is the Yuzu and Sage. You guys, I'm telling you, I think this is my replacement for Sicilian Orange, even though I don't need a replacement for Sicilian Orange. That fragrance is great, but I'm a sucker for Yuzu. I just really like this particular citrus note. Yuzu is so unique, and this one is so good, you guys. It's a little bit less aggressive in the like herbal department, whereas in the Sicilian Orange, I think the herbal is a little bit more forward, and I think that turns some people off with Sicilian Orange. If that is something that bothers you about that one, that's not the case here. You very much still get that herbal note, that sage note, but it's not as aggressive. It's not as like in your face. And it's so sweet and so fresh. It's just the most energizing, beautiful citrus. I will immediately repurchase this in the 4-wick format. One, I love the label, and I think it looks even better on the larger, like squattier 4-wick format. I just love the look of those. But man, you guys, so far I have only burned this once. Like I said, my burn time was a little bit more limited this week. I'm home all weekend. We don't have any events happening, so I don't have to work this weekend. So I'm really looking forward into diving into some of these other fragrances. But this is one that I know that even though I should be testing more of like the new scents, I'm probably gonna end up lighting this for most of the weekend. It's so beautiful, you guys. I love it. And the strength and throw, solid medium. So good burn performance on this one so far. Another one that I also had lit this week was the Chiffon Parfait and Peony. Another one where the label just really kind of got me. I just love garden roses. I'm a sucker for a garden rose, and these are absolutely stunning. Sir. Anyway, this is a really like bright peony and like garden rose combined with like a really soft vanilla. Very much along the lines of like a pink petal tea cake experience. If you liked that pink petal tea cake vibe where you're mixing the floral with the gourmand, this is along the same lines, and it's really nice, you guys. I really like this. There's also a very interesting rhubarb in here that I really like a lot, and the lychee, which is one of my favorite like tropical notes. I think the lychee really amplifies the peony and that garden rose note in here. Adds a little bit more sweetness to both of those rose and peony notes. And it's perfect. And then that kind of like stewed like rhubarb note just perfectly sweet, not overly sweet. Absolute perfection. And I would say this one I think is a must try for anyone out there who is a fan of one, florals, and two, especially florals combined with a vanilla. You're really gonna like this one. And the strength and throw was really good on this so far as well. Solid medium performance. The last candle that I want to mention is the Country Candle Sugared Peony. Now, before I get into just kind of my initial thoughts on this one, I want to remind you guys that this is the very last run for Country Candle. So this spring summer release is the very last one for Country Candle. Now, there might be some limited edition collections in the future that they might decide to do, but in terms of ending the Country Candle line, the intention is that this is the very last seasonal release from them. So no, you are not going to see a fall Country Candle lineup. Spring, summer is it. I'm not gonna tell you right now to like bum rush Kringle and, you know, get all of your backups or whatever. I do think that we will continue to see, you know, these Country Candles on sale for at least the next several months here. And I do actually anticipate that probably at some point later on this year, they might do a really like big clearance sale to get all of the Country stock out, and so they can start fresh. So it might be worth waiting for that sale if that is something that is going to happen. But if there are fragrances that you're really, really attached to, there is a very good chance that that particular scent gets moved over to the Kringle jar lineup here. These like, I call these the classic jars. So yeah, but definitely something to think about with this being the last run. I did specifically ask Kringle just yesterday if they were going to be repouring any of these spring summer candles as they sell out. And the word that I got back is that some of them will be repoured if they sell out, but not necessarily all of the fragrances. So I think there might be some, they might not have enough jars for certain scents. They might not have enough fragrance oils for certain scents. So yeah, that is, I just want to give you the information that I got directly from Kringle. And this is, again, not to tell you that you have to go there this weekend to buy all of your favorites. I really think you can wait, to be totally honest, and you'll probably get a better deal that way. But I do want to pass the information along for you guys just so that you know. We are also not going to be getting any medium jars in the Country Candles. They are available in the large jar, they are available in the daylights, and they are available in the wax melts. So those are your options. So just the heads up is that there is a chance that if some of these sell out, they may not report them. So I can't give you any more details than that. If I get more details, I will definitely pass them along, but that's just the information that I have right now. So anyway, let's dig into Sugared Peony over here while we are at it. I really like this one. This is also a floral that is mixed with vanilla, but it's not, I feel like it's different than this one. So the Chiffon Parfait and Peony is definitely, I think, a little bit heavier on the vanilla, whereas this Sugared Peony is a little bit more floral forward. Also, there's tuberose in this one, and I think the tuberose in here is kind of the star in terms of the floral notes. So if you don't like tuberose, I would definitely maybe avoid this one. There is also definitely some peony mixed in here. There's some definite orange flower for sure. And the vanilla is there. It is more of a musky vanilla in the case of this one. It's a really pretty scent. Listen, I like this one, but it's definitely more of a floral with a hint of musky vanilla, whereas this is more of a like 50-50 vanilla gourmandy floral type concoction, if that makes sense. Also, there is no tuberose in this one, which gives it a different like rose type fragrance, if that makes sense. But I like this one. If I had to pick between the two, I'd probably go with the Chiffon Parfait and Peony, but I also really like this one. So yeah, anyway, for what it's worth, this one had pretty good strength and throw. I like the fact that the carbon balls or mushroom tops on this one weren't as aggressive. As you can see, I didn't trim these wicks yet. What I'll probably just do with these is just wipe them with a paper towel, and that should probably suffice. I don't think that I want to really trim these wicks, but you can see here, nice clean burn on that first initial burn, solid strength and throw, good experience overall. So it's nice. I like this one. Now, this week I was quite lazy in terms of changing out my wax. I literally only did it once, and I did it on, I think I did it actually before I left for work on Thursday. So this is actually still what I have in my warmers right now. So I have the Posy Peach, and I actually still have several cubes left in this one. Posy Peach was a part of the most recent Bring Back My Bar, and I really like this peach. It's more of a white peach. This one's also a little bit musky, but in a really good way. I like this one a lot. This is Yuzu Dragon, and I'm telling you, my love of Yuzu right now is strong. So, so good. I love the Yuzu note here. It's just so vibrant and fresh. It's just one of those happy citrus scents. And it's also just probably one of the more naturally sweet citrus scents. I like it. I don't like it. I love it. I love this. So good. Delightful. Big fan. And then the last one is Petals and Peaches. This was the scent of the month for, I believe it was January. And I am still in love with this. This is a perfumey peach, but it's more of like a traditional, like ripe, juicy summer peach with like a little hint of floral to it, like a tropical floral. I love it. I think this is so good. I absolutely adore this. So yeah, but that's literally it for Scentsy this week. I got my catalog from Lisa, my bestie. So I already have a bunch of things marked for my first Scentsy order for spring summer 2025. I cannot wait to place my order, but I've decided to avoid purchasing any additional home fragrance for the month of March. So beginning of April, I will be placing my first Scentsy spring summer order here. And then also next month, there's one new local candle company that I'm going to be trying. And then there's a couple more things I want from Volispa. Love Volispa. And then I also think at that point I might be ready to try some things from Bath & Body Works for the spring and summer. So let me know if you have suggestions. But yeah, with this new stuff that just arrived from Kringle, I'll be pretty busy, I think, for the remainder of March in terms of in-depth candle reviews. So I figure maybe don't bring a bunch of things into the house. Quite frankly, I should have probably just picked this up and not gotten those two 4-wick Seabreeze candles, because I've got plenty of Seabreeze upstairs, but I just couldn't help myself. I love Seabreeze. But yeah, I do have to be mindful about the amount of candles that I'm currently bringing in. And Kringle was obviously insanely generous with sending me these new spring summer scents. So I just want to be mindful of my collection. So yeah, but anyway, we've got lots to talk about, obviously, for the remainder of the month. But anyway, let me know what you're burning and melting for this past week in the comments down below. I really appreciate you guys being here. I really appreciate Alf returning to work. I know that he enjoyed his time off, but it's time to get back to the salt mines, buddy. Have to entertain the people. He's so over it. Anyway, Alf and I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I've got another little PR candle haul to share with you guys tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And then I gotta get to burning these new spring summer fragrances from Kringle and getting you guys some in-depth reviews. So all of that to come. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.